Hit stream. Okay, so I've got that going. It looks like it's going. Let me check it for audio and everything. It sounds good, so I got everything up and going. Now I have 11 minutes before the beginning of the hour, so what I'm going to do is set up a song to play, and we will go with let's see, Echoes of Atlantis. Yeah, let's do that one.
Once the gods carved earth like a cosmic chessboard, Poseidon claimed Atlantis, his star-born accord. 10 twin suns, throne of Tridents waves at his command. Empire stretched from bow, big stones to Mayan sand. Monoliths stacked like Legos blocks no crane could lift. Sonic levitation, gods don't need pulleys or grit. Athena taught Athens, Hephaestus forged veins of gold, but Atlantis spires pierced heaven, stories untold. Ages of virtue, divine blood pure in the veins. No egregious geodesic temples where starlight reigns, but mortality crept in, diluted the grace. Turned to rust, hubris eclipsed the god fast.
Echoes of Atlantis, drowned in the deep. Poseidon's lost kingdom, where titans still sleep. From these it goes to Monaco, the cold section, all as above, so below. Cosmic empire of modern princes, of plasma, their thrones now debris. Echoes of Atlantis, where gods walked the sea.
Watch the fall, saw vice crack the divine. Pyramids hummed warnings, but they ignored the signs. Sky split with fury, tsunami swallowed their pride. Atlantis sang screaming, but blueprints survived. Complex foundation, stones that defy modern math. 1,000-ton puzzle, gravity's aftermath. Scholars still baffled how they align the stars. They rode cosmic currents, breaching space-time's bars. Now divers chase shadows, where crystal cities gleamed. AI scans the ocean, but truth's a half-dream. Dream misses whisper maps in their lodges of lore. Plato's Critias, a metaphor or a war.
Echoes of Atlantis, drowned in the deep. Poseidon's lost kingdom, where titans still sleep. From Egypt to Monaco, the cold tension, all as above, so below. Cosmic empire of law, 10 princes of plasma, their thrones now debris. Echoes of Atlantis, where gods walk the sea.
They say Poseidon's seed still flows in our veins. In every megalith, every grid that restrains. The Dogon chart Sirius, Templars guard the flame. But Atlantis tech, it's encoded in our DNA's frame. Zeus's verdict was fire, a flood and ice. Yet the Sphinx still stares, whispering sacrifice. Mortal minds crave power, but miss the design. True kings rule through resonance, not bloodline. Now decode the ruins, their psalms etched in stone. A star-born king's empire, now dust and bone. The hall of records buried neath Giza's cold gaze holds anti-gravity schematics from pre-flood days. Crystal engines hummed, organ fueled their might, till pride turned their frequencies dissonant blight. The Anunnaki fled, Mars colonies crumbled. Leviathan's bones in the Mariana rumbled. But Poseidon's ghost rides the Bermuda's mist. Evolve past the greed or drown in the abyss. Tsunamis taller than gods, crack continents like eggs. Jungles of Egypt drowned, turned to sand in Poseidon's regret. Mammals shrunk to lapdogs, skies choked by volcanic breath. Waves circled the globe thrice, 3 funerals for death. Up Nephistim, rode the arc of frequencies, not wood. Up tetrahedron ziggurat where anti-grav pulses stood. While Atlantis sank, he spliced DNA and quantum seeds. Stashed them in Göbekley's veins and Indus Valley reeds. Volcanic winter's curse. Zeus hit the reset, scorched the grids, erased the moon ringed internet. Noah's not a shepherd, he's a star-born archivist. Cracking hermetic scrolls in caves where mushrooms twist. The survivors crawl from mud with amnesiac eyes. Built new gods from scrap metal and fallen skies. Now desert bones whisper where cedars once soared. Man's just a ghost in Atlantis' holographic horde. Wasn't water, it was math. A codex purge, Enoch's nightmares digitized in the cosmic surge. As above, so below, the blueprint stays true. true. Rise from the ashes or drown in what's new. The flood wasn't water, it was math, a codex purge. Enoch's nightmares digitized in the cosmic surge. As above, so below, the blueprint stays true. Rise from the ashes or drown in what's you. Echoes of Atlantis drowned in the deep, the deep. Poseidon's lost kingdom where titans still sleep. From Giza to Tijuana, their codes etched in awe. As above, so below, cosmic empire of roar. 10 princes of plasma, their thrones now debris. Echoes of Atlantis, where gods walk the sea. So when you see Stonehenge, anger will fire. No Atlantis lives in the quantum choir. The gods were myths, their mentors in code. Rise from the ashes, or repeat what they owe. Once the gods carved earth like a cosmic chessboard, Poseidon claimed Atlantis, his starborn accord. 10 twin suns, throne of tridents waves at his command. Empire stretched from bow, big stones to Mayan sand. Monoliths stacked like Legos blocks no crane could lift. Sonic levitation, gods don't need pulleys or grit. Athena taught Athens, Hephaestus forged veins of gold. But Atlantis spires pierced heaven, stories untold. Ages of virtue, divine blood pure in the veins. No egregious geodesic temples where starlight reigns. But mortality crept in, diluted the grace. Gold turned to rust, hubris eclipsed the god fast.
Of Atlantis, drowned in the deep. Poseidon's lost kingdom, where titans still sleep. From Giza to Tijuana, codes are codes, etched awe. As above, so below, cosmic empire of modern princes of plasma, their thrones now debris. Echoes of Atlantis, where gods walked the sea.
Alright, so now I'm back. I have everything set up and ready to go. We've got 3 minutes until the beginning of the episode. This is going to be another episode of WWOW Talk. So, I hope you guys enjoy. Now today I'm going to try to do what I tried to do with Cosmic Weave. I'm going to actually put an intro and an outro on this one. I ended up messing up last time on Cosmic Weave by not putting an outro when I did it, but this time I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to start out with a intro, and hopefully I don't forget by the end of the stream what it's about. So with that being said, I'll take my drink of coffee and I will just get ready. Hopefully we don't have any mess ups like I did yesterday with my gaming. That was horrible. So with that being said, hopefully it doesn't happen. My internet ended up going out like twice while I was doing it. Now today might actually be a little bit short. I don't know for sure, but I'm going to try to keep it as as close to an hour as I can. So it might go just a little bit below, it might go above. I don't know for sure. It just depends on how long it takes for the information to be told. So got one more minute. So once I get at the top of the hour, I'm going to stop talking and let the introduction play, and then I will get on the road, get everything going. So. This Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of WWOW Talk. Today, I am bringing to you a little bit different, a little bit of some different stuff today. Now, last week, I had done the business part for the wonderful world of weirdness so that I could catch up with everybody who is a part of the community and let them know what's going on with the wonderful world of weirdness. That was kind of a good break, or a chance actually to do that, since I was doing a lot of information concerning the Indo-European language groups and stuff like that, and the world tree. That took quite a while, but I was finally able to do that, and I was able to go from there into talking about the wonderful world of weirdness and everything that's involved with it. So that was a good thing. I got that taken care of. Here in the last week, while I'm on the topic, I should say that I did get confirmation from Summer, Todd, as well as Austin, and they will be streaming another episode of Summer Todd's Mystery Show this Saturday, so we should have that up and going. Now, with the wonderful world of weirdness, I may be taking breaks with this one, but don't worry. I do need the time slot actually streamed for this time, Wednesday. So even though I'll be taking a break from the wonderful world of weirdness, don't worry, or WOW Talk, don't worry about it. We'll have something there in its place. But I don't know. I'm kind of thinking about it. I might go ahead and do more episodes of it, depending on how I feel at the moment. So, with that being said, I just wanted to let everybody know that, so that you all know. With that being said, though, I guess we are done with the topics. So, other than that, I do have to mention actually that I am making or I'm changing videos for in the schedule. Instead of there being ancient mysteries and strange stories, which I did the 12 episodes for a season. We're now going to go on to conspiracy and the cosmic weave. So the cosmic weave and conspiracy are all going to be started in April, and we will have 12 episodes of that for this season. It's going to be the actual first season for the cosmic weave, which is actually going to turn out, in my opinion, to be a pretty good series. What that is really about is a lot of research that I've done since I've started streaming, and I've been putting it together, and I finally got to where I felt that it was good enough to actually make a video series out of. So that's going to be a pretty good one. So if you guys have a chance, check it out. Now, we are streaming on Rumble, Beam, D Live, X, Twitter, Kick, and YouTube. So if you guys want to check us out, you can check us out on any of those platforms, and we'll be ready to go. So the topics that I wanted to come up this week kind of had to do with stuff that has been discussed in Discord chat, which I wanted to go through on some of this stuff. I started out with one, or with one episode where actually it was quite a few of them. It was a discussion that we were having on Discord, or actually quite a few discussions where a person who had joined Discord actually wanted to talk about some topics that we were, or that she was interested in. So I started it out. We started talking about reptilians and birds and how they played a part in history, or in folklore, mysticism, and ancient history and stuff like that. But that, I believe, was as far as I got. I think I discussed a little bit about Sagami Bay, which is what my first topic is going to be about today, but I don't think I really got into it very much. So that is going to be one of my topics. Now, after that, we also had a conversation about paranormal mimicry, about hearing mimic voices and stuff of that nature. So what I wanted to do was cover that, because the same person who had discussed Sagami Bay also brought up mimicry, paranormal mimicry. So I wanted to go over some of that. Now, after that, I ended up getting a post on Discord as well from John, and that was actually something that I wanted to cover that I didn't get a chance to do at the time, but I finally had enough time to go over it and discuss it. And that topic is the human energy field, which is something that is very interesting for me right now, because I'm actually doing research with the cosmic weave, which relates to the brain, as well as ancient mysteries and stuff of that nature, and how it all connects. And it also discusses things concerning UFOs and the paranormal and everything. That's why I'm saying, the cosmic weave is probably going to be in my opinion, it's going to be a pretty good video stream. So if you guys get a chance, check it out. But today I am going to go ahead and discuss these 3 topping points. So we have the human energy field, then we have paranormal mimicry, as well as the mystery of the Sagami Bay. Now, when that being said, I'll start talking about bringing up the topic of Sagami Bay. Now, Sagami Bay is a vast stretch of ocean along Japan's Kanagawa prefecture, and it has been a place of fascination and mystery for quite a long time. It's known for its deep underwater canyons, its diverse marine life, and historical significance in maritime trade. The bay has also been the site of reported sea monster sightings and eerie legends. Now, these sightings and these eerie legends, they don't just pertain to like the 20th and the 21st century. These stories go back quite a long time, just so everybody understands that. Now, from cryptid encounters to fishermen to scientifically intriguing deep sea creatures, Sagami Bay continues to fuel speculation about what might be lurking beneath its waves. Japanese mythology is rich with stories of monstrous sea entities. One of the most well-known mythical creatures associated with Japanese waters is the umabazu, a terrifying shadow sea spirit said to capsize boats. While the umabazu is not exclusively a Sagami Bay, is not exclusive to Sagami Bay, numerous stories from sailors describe similar ghostly apparitions appearing before tragic accidents at sea. Other folklores describe large serpent-like creatures emerging from the depths, often mistaken for dragons or giant eels. These reports bear striking similarities to global sea serpent legends, suggesting a universal fear for the unknown deep.
Hey Ray,
Oh,
Robert said you wanted woke up.
Yeah, sorry about that. I had somebody come in real quick and just started talking without knowing that I was in here doing this. Okay, so other folklore describes large serpent-like creatures emerging from the depths, often mistaken for dragons or giant eels. These reports bear striking similarities to global sea serpents legends, suggesting a universal fear of the unknown deep. Additionally, the legend of hold on, I've got to delete this out. Okay. Additionally, the legend of Ryugu no Tatsuki, or the messenger from the sea god's palace, refers to deep-sea oarfish whose rare appearance are often seen as omens to earthquakes or tsunamis. Given Sagami Bay's geological activity, it is possible that ancient sightings of these long, undulating, undulating fish contribute to local sea monster tales. Over the years, various fishermen and sailors have reported seeing unusual marine creatures at Sagami Bay. Reports describe long, serpentine animals surfacing momentarily before diving into the depths. Some claim these creatures were over 30 foot in length, and some with resemblance to the plesiosaurus, suggesting supplication about surviving prehistoric species. The deep water of Sagami Bay are known for harboring giant squid, creatures that can grow to enormous size and have inspired sea monster tales worldwide. Fishermen have occasionally encountered these squid tangled in their nets or seen them briefly at the surface. Some witnesses have described glowing shapes moving beneath the water, possibly deep-sea creatures exhibiting bioluminescence, while marine biologists recognize the presence of luminescent jellyfish, deep sea fish, and squid occasionally reports of large glowing figures remain unexplained. Many of the sightings and legends associated with Sakami Bay can be attributed to deep-sea gigantism and misidentification of known marine life. I'm going to pause real quick. Okay, I am back. Now, giant squids and colossal squids are elusive creatures and rarely seen alive in their natural habitat. Their occasional appearance have long inspired sea monsters legends. Given Sagami Bay's deep sea conditions, encounters with these animals are plausible. Spirits like the frilled shark and goblin shark, both found in Japanese waters, have bizarre prehistoric appearances that could contribute to local monster myths. Decomposing whales or other large animals in the water can sometimes appear monstrous, with unusual shapes and textures caused by decay. Sagami Bay is home to the Sagami Trench, an underwater cavern or canyon which reaches depths of over 1,500 meters. These deep-sea environments support unique and often undiscovered marine species. Given that many deep-sea creatures remain largely unstudied, the possibility of unknown species inhabiting the trenches adds to the mystery. The trench also serves as a gateway from the deep ocean currents, which may bring rare and exotic species closer to the surface, increasing the likelihood of unusual sightings. With advancements in underwater exploration technology, researchers continue to uncover new marine species in the deep seas around Japan. Remotely operated vehicles, or ROVs, and deep sea submersibles have documented previously unknown jellyfish, squid, and fish, many of which have peculiar and alien-like appearances. As scientific exploration of Sagami Bay and its trench progress, new discoveries may help explain or even confirm past sea monster sightings. Which that's one thing that I do agree with. I think that subjects like that need to be left open. You know what I mean? Don't be critical against them or anything of that nature, because there's a pretty good chance that there are species that haven't been discovered from the ocean. We've barely tapped into some of the depths that are involved when it comes to the Pacific Ocean, you know. There's areas of the Pacific Ocean that we don't know anything about, and they are positioned close to a real deep trench right there in that area. I wanted to bring that one up because it was something that I really wasn't able to get into very much whenever it was first mentioned. I do want to say, though, that this was actually brought up because of a post that was put on the internet by Dabu. Um, don't get me wrong, Dabu has come up with some pretty interesting stuff, some pretty interesting topics and everything, but I personally don't uh, watch a lot of the stuff that he does anymore, because a lot of the things that he does put out has just purposely been hoaxed. And you have to be careful when it comes to stuff like this, because they do a lot of hoaxing when it comes to Google Maps. And you'll hear a lot of people who get on there and talk about Google Maps like, oh, better hurry up and see this before they take it down. And they don't really explain to you why it is they take it down. Now, usually when you see videos like that that's posted up on the internet, the reason why they get taken down real quick is because hoaxers go on Google Map and they post altered photos of creatures that are supposed to be where they're at on the map that aren't really there. You know what I mean? So, and they've been doing it for a while. So Google goes through and they catch those kind of photos that's been photoshopped and stuff of that nature, and they take them down. And that's the only reason why they do it. There's no big conspiracy about it or anything like that. No horrible deep Google Map conspiracy to keep information away from the public. So be aware of that when you're watching videos like that. Back whenever the wonderful world of weirdness first started out, we used to always go through and censor stuff like that, you know. So I've had experience in that area where we've had to say, no, this has been verified as hoaxed and this isn't. Now, this was before I took over, and I put a lot of information on here that isn't verified. It's not real, most likely. But I feel different about that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I'm one of those people who believes even if it's fake or if it's not fake, it's something that needs to be shared with people. So when you go in and you hear the stuff that's being posted on the channel, I'm not asking you to believe it. I'm just asking you to respect the fact that there are people out there who believe in this stuff, and just don't be a dick about it. You know what I mean? Don't get on talking hateful or anything like that. If you have opinions about something that you disagree with, say it in the chats. You know what I mean? Just don't be a troll. You know what I mean? Don't come in being crazy and talking hateful towards somebody or anything of that nature. I welcome all kinds of stories and all kinds of beliefs. I have my personal beliefs too that I have to really hold off on when it comes to the channel, because I'm the one people talks to. You know what I mean? So if I want them to come on and tell their story, then I need to respect them. You know what I mean? And thank you, Evan. I'm glad that you showed up. Evan on YouTube chat says that he believes, brother. So, and you know what I was saying, if you have anything that you want to bring to the table that I can put on WWOW Talk, join us on Discord and post it. I'll bring that stuff up, put it right up on the stream. So this is one of the actual stories that we got from Discord from a member on the Discord chat. So anybody is welcome to come in and share their information or the topics that they want. This is actually information that I pulled up myself, that I wanted to relay about the story, so if you guys want to have that stuff put on WWOW Talk, join us on Discord. Heck, you're more than welcome to share your perspective on any subject, and I will make sure that it's on there. If you guys want to come on to the show and talk about it, you're more than welcome to do that too. There's, like I was saying just a little while ago, summer And Austin said that they're coming back to do an episode of Summertime's Mystery Show on Saturday. And they're just members of the community that wanted to do a show. So I help them out. I'm their cameraman for them. I make sure that the stream goes out, but it's their show. You know what I mean? I'll do that for anybody who is a part of the community and wants to join and do their own show even. This is a community-based platform is what it is. So with that being done, I want to go through and I want to talk about the second topic. Now, this was very important to the individual that I had talked to, and because she said that this was actually happening to her. So, and I believe that it's something that I really should have gotten more into back whenever it was being brought up to, because she did seem to be having some issues there. But things ended up getting a little bit carried away with me and the things that I had to do when it comes to the posts. And I just was not able to get to this topic. And it was Sherry007 on Discord who is the one who started talking about this. So I am going to go ahead and bring this next topic up and get it going. So the next one is about paranormal mimicry. Mimicry. Now, throughout history, cultures across the world have reported eerie encounters and entities or forces that appear to mimic human behaviors, voices, and even physical appearances to some degree. Now, from the doppelgangers to shadow entities and poltergeist manifestations. Okay, now these mimic experiences are some of the most unsettling and probably some of the most perplexing phenomena, even though it's not very popular on media. For some reason, whenever people starts talking about doppelganger, people get just turned off by it. I don't understand that, because it actually is a really perplexing phenomena that a lot of people have talked about for a long time in the paranormal world. Now, many supernatural mimic entities find their roots in ancient folklore and mythology, and some of the most infamous figures are associated with concepts of like the doppelganger and the double walker in German, which describes an apparition or a shadow figure that looks and behaves exactly like a person, a living person. And there's been encounters with people's own doppelganger, and they're considered like an omen to some people, or death or misfortune and stuff of that nature. Now, when you talk about people in history who's experienced it, you got to take a look at like Abraham Lincoln. He actually reported seeing his own double before his death, right before he died. So that is one example when it comes to mimicry in history. Okay. Now, in Norse mythology, there's also a similar concept that exists, and it's called the Zardager or Zardager. Now, that's an entity that precedes a person and mimics their actions before they actually arrive. So, like before you arrive, all of a sudden, these people who you're about to meet sees you ahead of time, and then that is over, and then all of a sudden, here you come in. They're like, I just saw you. You see what I mean? So that is another, it's a similar concept, and that's called the Verdagar. Now, the Navajo legend of the skinwalkers is another one. Now, skinwalkers are witches or shapeshifters who can transform into animals and mimic human voices to deceive and lure victims in. Now, many modern reports claim that these entities will call out in familiar voices from the dark, and that's them trying to or attempting to trick people into venturing outside alone. Now, some skinwalkers, some accounts of skinwalkers describe human-like creatures that move unnaturally fast or have eerie, elongated limbs. There's a lot of different interpretations of what the skinwalker looks like. But I could go into a description on that one. But I actually do have a video series called Skinwalker Ranch, which kind of gets involved in that. And to me, I'm not going to say that that's actually good when it comes to like skinwalkers, because like Skinwalker Ranch really, in my opinion, doesn't have anything to do with skinwalkers. It has to do with aliens and supernatural, paranormal occurrences and things like that. But like, there's actually nothing that's ever shown pertaining to the skinwalker. So maybe later on I can do more on that and go over the skinwalker a little bit more. So now, there's also in Irish and Scottish folklore the changelings, which were fairy beings who mimicked human infants, replacing real children with imposters. Now, these beings appeared identical to the stolen child, but often behaved strange, and they showed unusual intelligence or illness. Families would perform tests such as exposing the changeling to fire or cold iron, and that was to try to reveal its true nature. That one's actually pretty bad too. Like, there's a really, really dark folklore behind all that. I think they've got a movie out about that too, which is pretty interesting. But after that, you also have to have the Wendigo. All right, now the Wendigo is one that I do find pretty interesting, and the only reason for that is because it's a malevolent spirit in the cold wildernesses. It's said to imitate human voices to lure victims into the forest, kind of like how the Skinwalker does. And there's a lot of similarities between the Skinwalker stories and the Wendigos, but trust me, they're two totally different deities or entities. They're not the same. So now, Wendigo sightings often involve like eerie mimicry of loved ones, which is supposed to lead people away from safety. But summary reports describe Wendigos too as having glowing eyes and an unnatural gait, which also adds to their eerie mimicry. I've also heard stories where they don't even have like a gait or an appearance. They're like the wind, you know what I mean? They're invisible. The only time that they're seen is whenever they wish to be seen. So, and they can also influence your mind, and when you hear those voices, you're hearing it like telepathically instead of it being an actual voice. You know, you could be hearing somebody's voice and it could be somebody else, or it could be just something you're hearing in your head. And the reason why they have a chance to influence you in that way is because the Wendigo lets out a scream. And if you hear that scream, then that means that you've been exposed to their influence and they can control you that way. So that's some information that I know about the Wendigo, which is something that has been, it's actually been an interest of mine, to be honest with you. Now, one of the most frequently reported experiences involves hearing a loved one's voice calling from another room, only to find that person was never there. Okay. A woman reported hearing her mother calling her from the kitchen. Um, Now, this just has to do with supernatural mimicry. Okay. A woman reported hearing her mother calling her name from the kitchen, only to find her mother asleep upstairs. When she returned to the kitchen, she saw a shadow dart away. Like a shadow being that had just darted out of the kitchen. So that's another story that's been also reported. Now, some speculate that these encounters may be caused by residual hauntings or malevolent entities attempting to lure people into danger. People have also reported encounters of encountering identical versions of themselves or their friends or their family members in places they shouldn't have been. Now, a security guard in an office building once saw his coworker walk past him and into a locker room. Minutes later, the real coworker entered from the opposite direction. Confused by the encounter, the um, the security guard shit his pants. Now, some doppelgangers encounters involved entities that vanish suddenly or display unnatural expressions. Many reports suggest that shadow beings or poltergeists can mimic the voices and mannerisms of the living. A family reported their young daughter talking to someone in her room once. When asked, she said it was mommy, despite her mom being in another part of the house. Some shadow entities are described as featureless, but eerily familiar in movement and sound. Now, in recent years, stories of creatures that look human or animal but behave unnaturally have gained popularity online. The no deer of the Appalachian folklores is an example of this. Uh, it's a deer-like creature that moves and stares in an unsettling, almost human way. Um, Reports suggest that some cryptids, such as the Reiki or the Goatman, exhibit similar mimic, mimicry behaviors as well. Now, while supernatural mimicry remains largely unexplained, several theories attempt to provide insight into these phenomena. Some paranormal researchers suggest that mimic entities could be beings from parallel dimensions, occasionally slipping into our reality, which, by the way, is another topic that for some reason people do not like talking about. I have no idea why. And this is something that has been around the paranormal community for quite some time, but for some reason, when you start getting into the topic of interdimensional travel and stuff like that, and altered dimensions, they just do not want to talk about it. I guess it's not one of those things that brings around popularity or something. It just, for some reason, I have noticed that people do not like talking about slipping into other realities. Now, certain hauntings may be caused by energetic imprints of the past too. That's mimicking familiar sounds or figures without true consciousness. Now, that is something that does actually, a lot of people are okay with that. There's a difference between residents, uh, paranormal residents, and a haunting. You know what I mean? A residence is the residual effects of somebody from the past, um, compared to an actual haunting of a being that's supposed to be within the house. So that's actually uh, really a good topic to think. Now, that you got to also understand that these figures go without their true consciousness. Like they aren't even conscious. They're just like a residual effect of something that repeats itself. So now, paralysis, auditory hallucinations, and pareidolia, that's seeing patterns where none exist, may contribute to some mimic experiences. And there are people who are in the paranormal community who do recognize that, yeah, some of this can do it, but there are some who just flat out deny it. You know what I mean? Um, the one good example of that would be the orbs. You know, there's a split down the middle between orbs. Are they just are they real, or are they just something that's being produced by the camera? You know, so you hear a lot of people's opinions about that when it comes to that. But I mean, like I said, I'm not here to tell you what to believe or what not to believe. Okay, this is just information that I'm giving you, and you take it for what you believe, and don't worry about what I believe. So. Um, Now, studies on cognitive psychology suggest that the human brain is highly sensitive to detecting familiar patterns, leading to misinterpretations of normal stimuli. Now, with that kind of gets into the parapsychology side of things, and that's something that I want to kind of go through, not too much into depth, but whenever I do my cosmic weave, it has to do with the brain and the stimuli and the. If you've watched the first episode, then you know what I'm talking about. But you you start realizing that maybe there's things that are out there that you really 100% believe that you saw, but there's a chance that your brain isn't capable of comprehending what you actually saw. You know what I mean? So it creates that image, or that image is planted into your brain by an outside influence so that you see something else, you know? So that is kind of what the cosmic weave is about. It's a part of it. That's why I said before, if you guys get a chance, check those videos out, or come on and listen to the stream whenever it's on. That'll be starting on, or it actually already has the first episode, but they are going to be on Saturdays at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, which it wouldn't be a conflict when it comes to summer in Austin at all, because they usually don't want to stream until about 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. their time. So I should be able to do my show and theirs at the same day. So now, some scientists speculate that consciousness may have non-local properties, allowing for strange manifestations of familiar voices or figures. Paranormal mimicry has also been a major theme in horror movies, books, and online urban legends too. Um, that would be something that uh, a lot of people believe into, that maybe these movies and stuff influenced what it was that you saw. Now, in the movie The Thing, okay, the Thing was supposed to be a shape shifting alien that mimics humans. Uh, and that created paranoia. All right. Now, in the movie, it follows an entity that takes the form of a familiar people. Um, that form takes the form of familiar people. Was in that when and they did that to approach their victims. So the entity would literally take the form of people you knew or something like that. Um, Now, descriptions of the Slender Man is something else that's become real popular too. And the Slender Man often includes a lot of claims of mimicking voices and mind manipulation and stuff of that nature. So you've got a lot of that going on. You know what I mean? And that is something that is very, very interesting. It really is. But I think for me personally, the thing that I want to really get into, and it does relate to a lot of that, but it kind of goes into the suggestion or the post that John had made back a little while ago, and it's about the human energy field. This kind of goes into what I am talking about the ways the brain works, okay? Now, the human energy field, it's a concept that has fascinated like healers, mystics, and even scientific people too. So it's often described as a subtle yet powerful force that surrounds and permeates the human body, influencing health, consciousness, and overall well-being. Uh, Though widely acknowledged in spiritual and alternative healing traditions, modern science has also began exploring the nature of the human energy field through disciplines such as bioelectro magnetics, bioelectric magnetics, quantum biology, and neuroscience. Now, this is going to delve into the origins, the characteristics, and the scientific perspectives and application when it comes to the human energy field. The idea of a life-sustaining energy field is found in numerous ancient traditions. You have the qi, which is in Chinese medicine. And traditional Chinese medicine describes qi as the vital energy that flows through meridians, impacting health and vitality. Right there is something that I was discussing before on Into the Abyss. We were talking about geomancy and some of the beliefs that they had concerning chi and some of the uh, mystical practices that they had concerning earth worship. So it was pretty interesting when we did that. So if you have a chance, check out Into the Abyss. It's in the playlist for the channel on YouTube. Now, in Indian philosophy, you have prana, which is the life force that sustains the body and is manipulated through breath work, and that is pranayama, and energy centers in the chakras. So you've got that going on. Now, in Western esoteric traditions, they speak of an aura, an energy field surrounding the human body, composed of multiple layers linked to physical, emotional, and spiritual states. Now, in the 19th and the early 20th centuries, scientists such as Wilhelm Reich and Harold Saxon Burr proposed theories of bioelectric energy influencing health. Many energy healers and researchers believe the human energy fields consist of distinct layers, each serving a different function. You have the etheric layer, that's the closest to the body. This layer is linked to physical vitality and cellular processing. Then you have the emotional layer, that's associated with feelings. It reflects emotional health and well-being. After that, you have the mental layer, which contains thoughts, patterns, beliefs, and cognitive processes. Now, this next one is the astral layer, and it acts as a bridge between the physical and spiritual realms associated with love and higher consciousness. Now, after the astral layer, you have the causal and spiritual layers. Now, these higher layers store karmic information, spiritual insights, and a connection to a higher dimension of consciousness. Now, all of these layers is kind of what I go through, or I'm starting to go through when it comes to the cosmic weave. It discusses things of that nature. It also has an explanation sort of on primal energies, as well as, when it comes to uh, historical belief systems that go all the way back to the ancients. Okay, a lot of these beliefs go well before anything that the Egyptians ever thought of or the Sumerians did. It has to do with Indo-European languages and the people who believed in sun deities and things of that nature, and the world tree, which is way older. Today, you'll hear about the Jewish Kabbalah and all of that with the tree of life. That is something that kind of was an offshoot of the world tree and the different belief systems that went into it. That's kind of what I'll be going off of, and it'll explore stuff like this. It is actually a pretty interesting topic. It's like I said at the beginning too. This is stuff that caught my attention whenever I first started getting into this stuff, because I would do research on a lot of these things, and then I'd watch shows like Ancient Aliens is a real good example. And on Ancient Aliens, they would always talk about little bits and pieces here of this, and then a little bit here of this, and a little bit of this here. And I would get interested in those little pieces that they were talking about, but they would never talk about just those little pieces. They would always fit them in wherever they wanted them to fit. And I never seemed to have gotten any kind of answers from it. It was always more questions on top of questions on top of questions. And finally, one day I was like, you know what? I need to do my own research. I need to check this stuff out. So I started checking it out. And all of a sudden, I started finding different information out that goes deeper, So I started realizing what they were talking about on Ancient Aliens, but I also noticed that it was being mentioned here on this stream or that stream on the internet, and things started making sense to me. But I still had questions. You would see videos of ancient Sumerian belief systems, and then the Babylonians and the Assyrians. And then it would always be about, the Egyptians after that. And I started, hearing stories about the Theosophical Society and the Gnostics, which I could actually understand where that was being added to the story too. But there were still certain things that weren't answered. And, after Africa, they of course have to jump across the pond and start talking about South America. And then when they run out of information about South America, they bounce all the way back to the Orient and start talking about Hinduism and Buddhism. And that's pretty much what you get when you start listening to people talking about this subject, because it became trendy, and all of a sudden every time you watched stuff like this, it was always the same format. It was always just kind of like a trendy way of doing it, and everything that they always said just did not fit, you know what I mean? But then about, it was last year, me and Bob Dub did our episode of Duality with Bob Dub, and we started going through duality, and I actually took a real deep look at duality and what the difference was between dualism and duality, as well as different aspects of it. Like you have the feminine and the masculine, and I started incorporating that into the research that I had been doing already, and it's like all of a sudden things started clicking, things started making sense. So finally, after I'd gotten all my notes together, I figured I would start outlining what I wanted to do with the information I had, and start writing it out, getting it ready. And that's how I came about doing the Cosmic Weave. And it discusses a lot of stuff here when it comes to the etheric layer, the mental layer, the astral layer, the traditional or the casual and spiritual layers and stuff of that nature. It's really interesting. So like I said, if you guys want to check those out, feel free to stop in. That's on Saturday, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time, and 2 p.m. I believe Eastern Time. 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. I believe. 2 or 3 p.m. Pacific Time, and whatever time is in between for Mountain Standard. But yeah, you can check it out there. So that's usually at 10 p.m. in England. So because I know people over there that might want to actually listen to it. Now, although traditional science remains skeptical of the human energy field as described in spiritual traditions, there are emerging fields of research that lend credence to the idea of bioenergetic influences on health. Now, the human body generates electric and magnetic fields, particularly through the heart and brain. Now, instruments like EEGs, which is electroencephalograms, and ECGs, which is electrocardiograms, measure these fields, showing that our physiology interacts with external electromagnetic influences. Now, studies have shown that cells emit weak light it emits weak light known as biophotons, potentially playing a role in the intercellular communication. Now, Kirlian photography, though controversial, is an imaging technique that claims to capture an aura-like energy around biological organisms. Now, some researchers have speculated that quantum mechanics plays a role in consciousness and biological processes, which may relate to the concept of an energy field. Energy imbalances are thought to contribute to disease, while practices like Reiki, acupuncture, and Qigong aim to restore energetic harmony. Now, stress, trauma, and emotions, they influence the HEF with meditation and mindfulness practices. They show potential for rebalancing energy. So through mindfulness and meditation, things of that nature, those practices, they do show potential for rebalancing your energies. Now, I had to deal with a lot of that back when I was real heavy into Alcoholics Anonymous, because you had to learn how to change your behaviors. You know what I mean? Not just your physical behaviors, but you had to learn how to think on emotional levels. And that entailed me not being emotional about everything, but recognize my emotions whenever they became an issue. You know what I mean? When I recognize that I'm angry, then I can stop. But the problem with most people is they don't recognize when they're angry. You can tell them straight out, stop getting angry, and they're like, I'm not angry, when you know clearly, yes, you are angry. So that is where I understand that whole concept from. You know what I mean? Now, that's something that I do believe in. Now, some believe that human energy fields interact, explaining phenomena such as intuition, empathy, and the sense of another person's presence. Now, many spiritual traditions associate a refined HEF with higher states of consciousness and enlightenment. Now, Reiki and energy healing practitioners claim to channel healing energies to clear blockages and restore balance. Acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine uses meridian pathways to regulate qi. Techniques like pranayama and mindfulness meditation enhances energetic awareness. Now, scientific studies are beginning to explore healing methods that involve subtle energy fields too, such as healing touch and therapeutic touch, things of that nature. Some medical insurances actually allow acupuncture and stuff of that nature too to this day. So chiropractics, that's another one that is becoming more and more accepted in today's society. Now, I was really surprised. I thought I was going to have a problem with getting an hour out of this, but I guess I did it. I'm really surprised. We have 3 viewers on Beam. We have 4 viewers on Rumble, and I don't know how many people are on D Live. I couldn't tell you. Twitch is 1, and that's probably me. We did have a comment from Evan on YouTube, and I want to do a shout out to you, Evan. Thank you very much for showing up and making a comment in the stream. I do appreciate that. There were no comments in any of the others because I'm a big fat loser and nobody likes me. So I'll just put it out there. You know, how long do you have to beg people to actually make comments and have a conversation? Like, seriously, you know what I mean? That's just horrible. So I actually have a video where I did the intro, and I'm remembering to do the outro. So with that, I am going to end the show. Now, the next one that I'm going to do is a topic that I believe either Nancy Planeta shared with me, or it could have been Mr. Robot, but one or the other. And the topic is going to be the UFO cover-up by John Lear. They sent me PDF for it, so in the next episode I will be coming back on and reading that so that you guys can enjoy it. So that being said, I am going to do the outro and end the stream. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like, subscribe, share, make comments. Love to hear your feedback, and have a good night.